Of all classes drank heavily at wedding and funeral, fair and wake. The Crushkeen lawn was there. Laias na pota a hol a rish. Galar gan nara an thought. Is gera joch na scale. All the high, ta fly ganacus more. Why was there so much drinking? Well, government or legal whiskey was cheap, as was beer. But in many districts, the most popular drink was the home distilled Poteen. After the formation of the Royal Irish Constabulary, the police, and after Father Matthew's great temperance campaign in 1839, the standards of Poteen making started to fall. This was the recipe of a special concoction sold at Puck Fair in the 1860s. Hard men, these old Kerry boys, with innards of iron. Puck Fair, time was measured not by the calendar, but by the local fairs. Though the primary purpose of the fair was the buying and selling of animals, people also came to shop at the stalls. They came to the great fair of Donnybrook to dance, to matchmake, to drink in the booths, and often to fight. Faction fights were a common feature at the fairs. These fights were partly the result of ancient grudges between families, partly a crude and dangerous form of sport, but largely the result of too much drink. The good faction fighter, the William Bottock, had the glamour of the modern sports star. His weapon was not the shillelagh we sell to the tourists today, but a good stout cudgel of oak or blackthorn, about 3 feet long. It was seasoned by wrapping it in brown paper well steeped in pig's lard and then burying it in a dunghill. When well saturated, it was rubbed with black lead to give it a polish. Often they poured molten lead through a hole in the head to make it more lethal. Sometimes the women joined in. Their weapon was a rock in a stocking. You've probably heard of how the challenge to fight was issued. One faction trailed a coat along the ground and challenged the other to step on its tail. If there was one man who could stop a faction fight, it was the priest. Religion was woven into the lives of the people. Sunday Mass was an important social occasion. In poor districts, Mass was said from an ark with the congregation kneeling in the open, like this group at Bunlin Bridge, County Donegal in 1867. There were great pilgrimages to Lough Derg. But in the 19th century, most parishes had its pilgrimage to a holy well or place associated with a local saint. The day on which the pilgrimage was performed was called the patron or pattern day, and the pilgrimage was called a pattern or station. Often thousands attended, and when the devotions were completed, they flocked to enjoy the fun of the fair.